When you think of TV psychics, one name probably comes to mind: Sylvia Browne. For decades, she was a phenomenon. She'd sit on television, look right into the camera, and promise millions of Americans a peek into the world beyond. She made dozens of startling predictions, but according to legend, one of her visions was so personal and so sensitive, it was locked away. A secret prophecy, not about politics, but about President Bill Clinton's soul. This prophecy was supposedly captured on a recording that was never meant for public ears, a warning so chilling it was hidden for decades. Only now has the story of this tape and the judgment it supposedly contained come to light. And what Sylvia Browne allegedly foresaw wasn't a political scandal, but a reckoning that would take place long after Clinton left this world. This is the legend of Sylvia Browne's most secret prediction, a vision that pulls apart the man, the office, and the soul. To really get why this secret matters, you have to remember just how huge Sylvia Browne was. She wasn't just a psychic, she was an empire. From the 70s until her death in 2013, she was a regular on shows like Larry King Live and The Montel Williams Show, doing live readings for audiences who hung on her every word. She wrote over 40 books, founded her own church, and built a legion of followers who saw her as a genuine, comforting guide in a world full of uncertainty. And nothing cemented her reputation more than one single passage, buried in her 2004 book, End of Days. In it, she wrote, "In around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments." When the COVID-19 pandemic paralyzed the world, that sentence went viral. For millions, it was undeniable proof of her abilities, the ultimate "I told you so" from beyond the grave. However, like most of Browne's work, it's a hotbed of debate. Skeptics point out that the rest of the prediction, which claimed the illness would suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived, never happened. They argue the description was vague and that people have been predicting pandemics for centuries. Still, the timing was so eerily specific that it sealed her legacy as a true seer for her believers. It's that power, the ability to say something that, for many, rings undeniably true, that makes the story of her hidden warning about a president so compelling. It makes you wonder, if she could see a global crisis coming, what else did she see? And what was so terrifying, it had to stay hidden? That question takes us back to the 1990s. Bill Clinton's presidency was a roller coaster. He was a charismatic, saxophone-playing leader who presided over a booming economy, but his time in office was perpetually shadowed by scandal. From Whitewater to Paula Jones, controversy was never far behind. Then, in 1998, the world's attention snapped to one name: Monica Lewinsky. The revelation of the president's affair with a White House intern wasn't just a political scandal, it was a cultural inferno. It led to Clinton's impeachment and divided the nation, sparking furious debates about privacy, truth, and what a leader owed their people. At the height of this crisis, with her fame peaking, many turned to Sylvia Browne for answers. Now, this is where the story gets complicated. It's been widely reported that on a show like Larry King Live, Sylvia publicly stated that the affair did not happen. This moment is often held up by critics as one of her biggest, most public failures. Interestingly, reviews of predictions from that era show that no major psychic, Browne included, saw the scandal coming before it broke. This makes the legend of a secret prophecy even stranger. If she publicly got it wrong, or at least that's the story, why would a secret, far more disturbing vision even exist? Did she simply miss the mark in public, only to see the spiritual truth in private? Or was her public statement a deliberate misdirection to hide a truth she felt the world wasn't ready to hear? That contradiction is exactly where the legend begins. The story of the secret tape suggests her public miss wasn't a psychic failure, but a choice to withhold a prophecy that had nothing to do with impeachment and everything to do with eternal judgment. What do you think? Was Sylvia Browne a gifted psychic who sometimes got it wrong, or a sharp performer who knew her audience? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. And if you're intrigued by secrets hidden in plain sight, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because you'll want to hear what was supposedly on this secret tape. This is where the story shifts from public record to whispered legend. The narrative, passed around by paranormal researchers and former associates of Browne, claims a secret reading took place off-camera. It wasn't for a client. The story goes that Browne was meditating when she received a powerful, unsolicited vision about the president. She grabbed a micro-cassette recorder, a common tool for psychics, to document the vision before it faded. This recording wasn't about the Lewinsky affair. According to the legend, that's exactly why she hid it. In the hyper-political 90s, any vision about Clinton would be seen through a partisan lens. But what she saw, the story claims, wasn't about earthly justice, it was about spiritual consequence. Let's be perfectly clear. There is zero hard evidence this tape exists. This is modern folklore. But the story itself is too compelling to ignore. In the vision, she allegedly saw President Clinton not in the White House, but in a celestial courtroom after his death. He was standing in a seemingly infinite hall of mirrors, but in each mirror, he didn't see his own reflection. He saw the face of every person whose life he had influenced. He saw the hope he'd given millions, but he also saw the spiritual fallout from his personal failings. The prophecy described his charisma as a blindingly brilliant light, a divine gift. The vision's core warning was about the shadow cast by that same light. It wasn't about the act of the affair, but the misuse of that incredible spiritual gift. The most chilling part was the verdict. There was no fire and brimstone. Instead, the judgment was a form of eternal empathy. His spirit would be tasked with feeling the exact pain and disappointment of those who had put their faith in him, not just as a leader, but as a moral figure. The judgment wasn't about punishment, it was about teaching the true weight of influence. According to the legend, Sylvia was deeply disturbed. She felt she had witnessed something sacred and terrible. She supposedly hid the tape because releasing it would be a spiritual violation, a private matter between a man and his creator. She was just an accidental witness, and she believed the vision should remain a secret until his soul was ready to face it. But you can't tell this story without talking about Sylvia Browne's dark side. For every viral hit, like her 2020 prediction, there are numerous, well-documented failures, misses that had devastating real-world consequences. The most infamous and heartbreaking example is the case of Amanda Berry. In 2004, Browne appeared on The Montel Williams Show with Amanda's grieving mother, Luana Miller. With absolute certainty, Browne told this desperate mother that her daughter was in heaven on the other side. Luana Miller died 2 years later, believing her daughter was dead. But Sylvia was wrong. In 2013, Amanda Berry was rescued from the house where she'd been held captive for a decade. She had been alive the entire time, and it wasn't an isolated incident. In 2002, She told the parents of 11-year-old Sean Hornbeck, who had been missing, that their son was dead. 4 years later, Sean Hornbeck was found alive. These aren't minor mistakes. They're a pattern of false declarations that caused unimaginable pain. Skeptics argue Browne was a master of cold reading, using vague statements and high-probability guesses to create the illusion of psychic power. When you hear these stories, the legend about Bill Clinton feels different. If she was so devastatingly wrong about the fates of missing children, could she truly have been so right about the fate of a president's soul? So, where does that leave us with the legend of Sylvia Browne's secret vision? We're left with a ghost story for the modern age, a hidden tape, a prophetic warning, and a spiritual judgment for one of the most powerful men in the world. Maybe Sylvia Browne was a genuine, if flawed, psychic who stumbled upon something so profound she had to hide it. In this version of the story, the secret prophecy about Bill Clinton was a real moment of stunning clarity. Or maybe she was just a master performer. And the story of the secret tape is just that, a story. A clever piece of folklore designed to add another layer of mystique to her persona, a legend that can conveniently never be proven or disproven. In the end, the tale of the secret prophecy may tell us less about Bill Clinton and more about our own desire for belief. We're drawn to mysteries that can't be solved, to the idea that there's a different kind of justice waiting for us all, a cosmic balancing of the scales. The story of Sylvia Browne's secret vision isn't just about a president. It's a story about what we choose to believe, the secrets we imagine are being kept, and the final judgment that in one form or another may be waiting for us all. What do you believe is the truth behind the legend? If you have a personal story about a psychic prediction that came true or one that went horribly wrong, share it with our community in the comments. And for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating and unanswered mysteries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.
This book is your beginner's guide to understanding Scripture. Find peace, build relationships, and discover purpose in today's world. Ready to decode the Bible? Find Bible Decoded available on Amazon now.
If this content blesses you and you'd like to support our mission, you can buy me a coffee or give a super thanks. Every contribution helps us create more content to inspire and uplift others. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos.